Greenbow, what? Oh, Commanders, what? Oh, Greenbow, baby. Oh, he's coming to kill everybody. What?
We haven't spoken. Well, we've spoken since then, but we haven't really done a talked One Piece since then. I think we were on Jotun's stream, right?
Yeah, we've been talking about other topics like basketball.
Yeah.
Cosmos, all stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but we didn't get to talk no One Piece.
No One Piece. What?
We definitely got to do better in 2023, but 2022 was a crazy year for One Piece, right?
Yes.
I feel like we had so much amazing shit happen. We got the end of Wano. We have the beginning of what I think will be an amazing arc in Egghead. Let me ask you to open up though. How have you felt in regards to the reception in regards to Egghead? Because I've noticed a difference, right?
Well,
where people I've talked to that's been watching or reading One Piece for a long time, they're fucking in love with Egghead.
Yeah,
right? They can't get enough of it.
Yeah,
and this is not for everyone, right? This is just the small sample size I've done. For people that are somewhat casual, somewhat new, they're like, Egghead is cool.
Right.
Fine.
So here's the thing about how because I think it's also for the anime too, because the anime is going like crazy right now.
Stupid.
Yeah, right. Honestly, like last year was phenomenal. The anime this year I think it was Henry Thurlow said on Twitter that like this year would be like
look out for
the
episode,
greatest
right?
year.
There's gonna be like a crazy. Yeah, he did say some.
Yeah, like this
shit
year was like the greatest year of like One Piece animation like ever. We're crazy. Like he's making some bold claims of how good this year.
And we know what's to come.
Anime. Yeah. Oh my God, dude, it's gonna be crazy. Like that when he transforms. That may be one of the greatest of all time, like unironically one of the greatest of all time.
And they're gonna put their foot in it too.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, if Megumi's not doing that, I'll be shocked. She's gonna be there for sure.
Yeah,
she's gonna be doing like crazy stuff. That's gonna be just intense. It's gonna be like
not even just that.
Dropping.
We got the Zoro versus King conclusion.
Let's go.
Sanji versus
Queen. Yep.
Unlocking the Ifrit Jambe.
Yep.
Right.
Love that stuff.
And then the final Bazaron gun.
Momo coming up soon.
Law and Kid versus Big Mom. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That Puncture Willie is gonna
all
go
these things,
stupid.
all these things come to a head. But here's the thing, though. I think it's because right now, like Wano Country is like the longest arc of One Piece. It's going on for like 4 years, right?
Yes.
Manga anime, right? And then the idea is that a lot of folks, I think during the pandemic, they pulled up to One Piece because they're kind of like new to the story. And then so what happened was that so longtime readers like hype for Egghead, but there's a lot of casuals that pulled up are like Egghead's kind of cool because like for the most part it's like Egghead is like their first like weekly sort of like seasonal
kind of
like their first sort of like One Piece stride with a weekly, monthly, however you want to do it, arc to arc basis. Whereas last time they were, let's say, going through everything and like binge reading or binge watching, and then now they're here,
And if you get caught up towards the end of Wano, you're getting excitement after excitement back to back to back. Whereas for Egghead, you have some moments in there where it's just a lore chapter, right? And them running away and doing something. It's like, okay, I guess I'm supposed to care about Bonnie and Kuma. It's like, hell, fucking yeah, I'm supposed to care about Bonnie and Kuma. This is a big deal. We've been waiting for this for a long damn time. And some people might not hit the same way. But overall, and then I think for us as content creators, you can kind of judge interest based on just how videos perform. Just being flat out, right? Agreed. So I've seen the most interest in Egghead came from, which is crazy, Rob Lucci.
Rob Lucci, but also I want to say like Law and Blackbeard.
I forgot about Law and Blackbeard. Law and
Blackbeard. That was what I'll say.
Law and Blackbeard, but is that? I mean, that's technically Egghead, but it's almost like when we talk about Wano really and then Ultimate, right? Ultimate, and then because 956, 957, when we had the Warlord system being abolished, and then Yonko bounties, right? So yeah, Law and Blackbeard, that went crazy, and then when Rob Lucci pulled up. Let me ask you, when you saw Rob Lucci and he was about to go fight Luffy, what did you think initially?
I told everybody, listen, man, if this is Luffy and let's say his regular base form, this should be a good fight. But if he's going Gear 5, Lucci's not that guy anymore. Like Lucci is getting destroyed. Okay. He should get clowned on. He should get throttled because Luffy is at the point now where it's like, we are and he's earned this right too. He's earned like big boss status, like kingpin status. Like he's earned that right. And Rob Lucci, he's gotten stronger, true, but and some of the people have to keep in mind is that like the way they treated Whitebeard in Marineford War is the same way Luffy has to be treated at some point in the future. And so that means that all like the top tier guys that we saw there, how they were like Whitebeard's own crew. Whitebeard's own crew. Like, yo, you're not gonna touch the king. Hey, stand down.
Yeah.
This is the energy that Luffy's crew has to exert.
At
so
some
we're
point.
getting there now at some point. I think relatively soon we're getting there. And Rob Gucci, he's just not that dude. So
wait, how do you feel about Rob Lucci as a character? Do you like him? Do you?
I think he's a good character. I remember talking to Randy Troy about Rob Lucci. He's not a big Rob Lucci fan. I don't know why, but
Randy?
I understand why.
Randy isn't?
Yeah. Randy's not.
That's interesting.
Randy. Yeah, it was a very good topic. We did it on his channel, so you can check that out in the future.
Okay.
We talked about Rob Lucci for a bit, and Rob Lucci, I think that the idea is that he's just ultimately a servant. Like, he's a watchdog. He's not necessarily like his own man per se. It was like someone like Crocodile, someone like Doflamingo,
No
someone
personal
like NL.
ambitions other than to kill. Right.
Like, they had ambitions. They were their own men. They did their own thing. Rob Lucci's that, hey, I feel we're going. I'm a badass.
I'm going to use them to kill. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I first saw Rob Lucci, I was like, my thing was, if like you said, if Luffy's Gear 5, he should get one shot. If Luffy's Gear 5 in a vacuum, he should get one shot. But One Piece things are never really in a vacuum, right? You have to look at the context, look at the scenario, what makes sense. And with the build-up of Rob Lucci, I never thought, you can't bring him back to get one shot. Like, that entire build-up, okay, leader, seemingly the strongest remaining CP0 agent, seemingly, right? Well, Grunica is not dead, but either way. He's just the strongest CP0 agent. The cover story where he went back, got chased, came back, they promoted him, and then gets one shot. I was like, that really doesn't make sense to me. Even though Luffy should, based on how they've grown. But what I saw was a lot of people, and going back to it, felt like Luffy would be disrespected if Rob Lucci gave him a fight. Which, when I think about it, I don't know if you remember back then, after the Apu chapter. Remember when Apu knocked Luffy out?
Yeah, I remember this. Yeah.
People were
knocked
mad.
out Luffy. And yeah. And then Zoro got cut too. People were like, what the hell's going on?
People were
it's
really
Apu.
upset.
Yeah.
Saying, how can you touch Luffy? That's what's going on. And so it's just like, I think more and more we should already know this. Oda's going to prioritize the story over power scaling.
Right, because part of the premise of his character is to kind of mess around. He runs around, does like all these crazy dumb things.
Yes.
A lot of times he's like too brash. And so, but I get the idea too, where it's like, hey, hold on now. He's a Yonko, Emperor of the Sea. So he shouldn't be necessarily like, dunked on so hard on like a regular basis. But then what does he do? Like, Oda shows, I think it was like where we're going to Egghead Island. Or like, let's say where do you want a country? Yeah. But like, he is like, here's everyone's bounties. Like, Nami gets this. Here's Robin. Here's, like Sanji 4, Jinbei 3, Zoro 2. And then Luffy, the main guy, he's in a cage because he, did some crazy stuff and Nami's pissed off. So yeah, there's your Yonko. So it's like, there's always that kind of like mix between like seriousness, tension, and comedy, and then I think that like the whole Gear 5 you can argue through is that issue as well. Like that's like a tug of war between tension, seriousness, and then comedy. What's funny? What kind of jives with old school One Piece? Like what is One Piece? One Piece is I found like a lot of comedy. So it is what is there.
No, for sure. Yeah. No, I think we're at a place now where it's so many new people reading One Piece. People are so invested in One Piece, and most people's favorite character is Luffy, right? Just point blank, like Luffy's their guy. And so I understand.
In the West could be Zoro, but depends.
Yeah. It's Zoro, Luffy, Shanks up there. Yeah. But what people have to understand is, like, of course, Luffy is officially a Yonko now, right? Yeah. And he should not be dunked on. He should not be disrespected necessarily. But the Yonko that Luffy reminds me of the most is Big Mom.
Yes.
Because Big Mom, I think, at times has been the most scary Yonko. Because you don't know what the hell you're going to get with Big Mom.
Yo, I have a video plan on this too. Bro,
right?
Stop.
I'm just saying, right? She's scary, but then at times you're like, she is a joke.
Yeah,
right?
A goofball. Like incompetent. Like, what's going on here?
Just how is she a Yonko? And I feel like that's the route that Oda's gonna go with Luffy, because that's what he's been saying this entire time about Luffy. Mm-hmm. Almost every arc, right? There's a random character that asks, how is he the captain of the Straw Hat Pirates?
Right. Always.
That's their captain?
That goofball, that Joker.
It's almost like Luffy has to prove to them, oh, okay, so that's why, right? And right. I feel like that's the trope Oda's going to go for every single time. And he does eventually get to Kingpin status like Whitebeard, where it's like, he steps on an island, he's there.
Right. But like when he's serious though. So like for example,
he's serious. But
you can actually look at, let's say, what happened with Roger in the Odin flashback, where like there are moments where it was all a montage. Yeah. But there are moments where like he is joking around, like he is
messing
literally
around.
doing dumb. Like I remember like there was, I think they were on the island like where like it was a place that rains lightning constantly. Yeah. And then he's just trying to dodge lightning, like trying to like the montage, like getting zapped and everything. Yeah. I'm like, yo, like he's a joker, like he's a clown. But the thing is, when he's serious, yo, be warned.
Remember, Guard talks about this. They talk about this with Roger. When Roger's serious, right? He's not fucking around. And I feel like for Luffy, it's going to be the same thing, but he's going to be kind of looked at as a goofball. Yeah. But here's the thing, though. Here's the beauty about it, and I feel like Oda does it in a great way, is that he can have Luffy fuck around, right? He can have Sanji fuck around and do his things with women, but like he has someone like Zoro, where like Zoro would do some shit. They're like, damn, how is he not the fucking captain? Like he's a serious guy that's setting the tone here. What was going on? And he's following him. So what's so special about him?
You always like, because Zoro is the person that has to be like, he can't be comic relief that often because Luffy's like, and the other crew members are also like major comic relief. Yes. Like so, like Robin isn't as much. Someone like Frankie absolutely is. Yes. Zoro is definitely not. Sanji absolutely is.
But the thing is, Oda does incorporate funny ass Zoro moments, and they hit a lot more sometimes because it's so infrequent and it's so out of character. So it's just like
sometimes I think like in the past for sure.
In the past for sure.
As of late, I don't know. Like as of late, I don't see that as much anymore. Yeah. But I would say that because Wano Country was like a very serious sort of Zoro focus. Like Zoro was the secondary main character of that arc for sure. 100%. And then he gets like a lot of that focus, and also he's the one that kind of you go to like that a lot of like that heritage, that sort of like growth, like who he could potentially be.
Do you have a problem with that?
That whole Ryoma, not necessarily.
Where it's like it didn't materialize into anything really.
Well, not yet. I think it will in the future because I think
it definitely will in the future. But are you disappointed that didn't happen in Wano?
In Wano, not necessarily because Wano was there to like beat Kaido. Zoro stuff was like kind of secondary. Just how with Sanji, there's a lot of German stuff.
We didn't get everything from Germa until actually Wano. Like Sanji shit didn't wrap up until Wano necessarily.
Exactly, and then also there's still a lot more heritage that has to be kind of like just like explored there. Like Germa has like 300 years of history that's kind of like there's something happened to them and all kind of stuff.
How far back is the Shimotsuki like bloodline? Like how do we connect them?
Right, so it's like you have that, and then you also like why does he have the same scar on his face, or
why
like
does he have one eye?
Ryoma, right?
Is
also
that dead,
like
though,
that
in the
clan,
the one eye thing. Like, do we?
That
like, people,
should be one eye. I don't think it's any.
It should be dead now, right? Like when people don't
he has no
Sharingan. Open his eye.
No
there's nothing. There's no
eye
there. His eye is gone. Like it's gone. Like I think it felt real to me in a recent episode I watched when, because it happened in the manga, right? But in the anime when he was like, yeah, he has one eye just like Ryuma. And it's like, this was always the case, I guess. Like he was always gonna have one eye just because it's a parallel to Ryuma having one eye. So no Sharingan, no Rinnegan, none of that is coming out of Zoro.
Zoro v Britannia commands you. None of that. No.
Unfortunately, this is Zoro at his peak at this point.
Yeah. And in terms of his eye, I agree.
In terms of his eye.
In terms of his eye, exactly.
Yeah, there are a few people that do think Zoro's already passed Mihawk, but we won't talk about it.
What? No, that's not possible.
In the top 30s, there were some people that had Zoro with Mihawk already.
No, clowns. Actual clown makeup right now. Like, honk. But there's no way. No shot.
No, wait. Are you a Mihawk guy? I don't remember.
I like Mihawk, but I'm a Shanks guy.
Oh, no, you're definitely a Shanks guy, but when I said Mihawk guy, meaning giving Mihawk the respect he deserves.
He's in my top 10 for damn sure.
Has anything changed for you with Mihawk since Cross Guild?
I mean, do you want to get hold? So are we going to that now or we'll get that later?
We're not getting to the top 30s yet, right? But has your perception has it changed at all?
No, like literally nothing.
Okay.
Because I actually did a video in 2 years ago, like during the height of the pandemic. I call this verbatim, and I talk about like why this is the case. It makes the most sense to me personally. And then what happened when they had like the bounty reveal? And then what they say about Mihawk and how he's like the greatest sword skill. I'm like, yeah, this is what I've been saying for like years, like literally years. I've been saying this. And then I know too, like it was a hot topic at the point in time because obviously a lot of folks were like, Mihawk, sword. And then it's like, wait, hold on now. Even like the Japanese readers and the Japanese itself says sword skill.
Sword skill.
There's so it's a sword. And I think folks kind of forget, because I don't necessarily blame them, because Oda has to do a better job of this. But folks kind of forget a lot of the foundational concepts of the story. Where like, if something like Haki was all he needed to be like the world's greatest swordsman, then what's the point of like the Santoryu? Like, what's the point of so much of his like literal upbringing that he had to strive for? It's like it doesn't make any sense. Like foundationally, it doesn't make much sense to what Mihawk was telling Zoro. Literally, like in like one of the first talks about it. What? It's
no.
like, yeah, so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do think skill is very important, but Oda, there's a reason why he's making that distinction.
It's the most important thing. No, it is the most important thing moving for those type of guys.
I think it's the
quintessential thing.
It is definitely the most important thing, but I don't want to downplay the importance of Haki either. I guess what I'm saying is Oda makes the distinction, right? That Mihawk is like he's the strongest in regards to sword skill. Right. Well,
yes, he's the
greatest swordsman. Right?
And the world at large knows this.
Yeah. That. What did they say specifically with his bounty?
Brand New said that he even has greater sword skill than than the Emperor Red Hair Shanks. Right. Yeah.
So it's a distinction. But for me, I think I changed my tune probably like I want to say 2 or 3 years ago now, where say for top 30s I'd have Shanks 1, 2, 3. I have Mihawk like 10, 11. Right. And so I've changed that where I've gotten Mihawk closer to Shanks now because it's like, okay, this guy is legit. Like I thought he was legit before, but I feel a lot stronger about how legit he is now. So like for me, I think Mihawk and what he is, obviously he's the end game for Zoro, but in terms of strength, he's up there, bro. He's nasty. I mean,
I've always said before that I've always had me up for years. I was like 6, 7 years now. I've always had him in like in that gap between what I thought were like the Yonko, like the top tiers, and then like the admirals. So for me, I always put him like stronger than an admiral, but not as strong as the actual like. And when I say Yonko, I mean like the old school Yonko.
The old
so
Yonkos,
like Big Mom, Kaido, Shanks, and Whitebeard / Blackbeard. Because like for me, Mihawk made that distinction himself, where like he knew there was a gap, a distance between himself and Whitebeard.
That's been heavily debated as far as like,
I know. I know it has been, but I think that after the reveal of Mihawk having greater sword skill than Shanks, I think that kind of only, and then the fact that you have other characters saying, like I think it was Kaido saying, "Hey, Roger conquered the world with Haki, or the seas with Haki, and then Haki alone allows you to stand on top of like the seas, knowing that." And then what happens a few chapters later? Shanks does like the God beam. It's like, oh yeah, hello, like, it's all there. Like this guy's kind of crazy.
I think okay. You're getting a little crazy now. I think it was an homage. It was an homage to Roger by saying, "Hey, Haki does help you to stand at the top of the world." He was also acknowledging devil fruits too, but I think it's kind of looking at it saying, Roger was able to do this without any devil fruit and just Haki. Like, he is incredible. Like, I think Kaido's looking at it like this guy is different, which has always been debated, right? How did Roger stand at the top next to someone like Whitebeard?
But look at what he didn't say, though. He didn't say sword skill. Mm-hmm.
He did not say sword skill. However, Roger is one of the most skilled swordsman ever, I'm sure.
I don't doubt that, but it's not that makes him terrifying. What makes him terrifying was probably
wouldn't that mean that Haki is essential to to becoming a great swordsman?
No, it depends on the swordsman. Like Law has very little Haki, you could argue, but he is a devastating swordsman.
Right, but I'm talking about like not the devil fruit users.
Well, hold on now. But see, that's the thing though. It's like people. So you could argue that some folks, some swordsmen in the World One Piece. Because I have a whole video come out, I think, in the future about this. I'm going to break it down. Some people in the World One Piece choose to apply Haki to their swordsmanship to become stronger. Others use different abilities to do the same thing, where they apply it to their sorcerer to actually get stronger.
Absolutely.
Someone like Fujitora, someone like Law, someone like Mr. One. He was a swordsman,
right?
But his whole body was blades. That was the difference there. So I think Zoro even says during that fight, he could actually sense the technique and the sword skill within Mr. One's fighting style. So like the idea is that like you can actually apply, but that foundation of swordsmanship skill has to be there in the first place. That's where Mihawk is the greatest at by far, and I'd agree.
Okay, I believe I understand what you're saying. I think for some of these people, you can feel it in their sword. I guess in their fighting style. Like for Fujitora, you can tell he was a great swordsman before he got his devil fruit. You can feel it, probably, right? Yeah. It feels that way. And so I think for Mihawk, when it comes to like sword skill and hockey, here's the issue. There's some Shanks fans that completely denounces Mihawk when it comes to hockey and say, well, it's just sword skill. Hockey isn't necessary. Let's not compare his hockey to Shanks because Shanks' hockey is better. Right? And they somewhat shit on Mihawk and say, well, he's a skilled user, but hockey-wise, he can't compete with Shanks.
Well, that's where I think the issue.
That's the dissension there, right? Because obviously you can compete with Shanks with hockey.
Well, okay, compete in like what ground? So here's the thing,
where
right?
Shanks is not completely overwhelming him.
Well, I'm not saying he's overwhelming him, but what I'm saying is
Shanks is a better hockey user, definitively, but he's not overwhelming Mihawk to the point that we're like, oh my God, it's night and day.
Okay. So here's the thing, all right? So, and this is where so like, there's 2 points of I guess ways that you can kind of view this, I suppose, right? Mihawk has hockey, of course he does. And based on Zoro, he probably has Kankasaki Fusion too, like you just said,
absolutely,
right? But we also know that not everyone who has that skill, that ability, is created equally. Duh. Like someone like Luffy
Yamato versus Luffy,
right? Yeah, like you can argue that Yamato has it, but she's used that skill way more than Zoro has. But Zoro has more power with that skill.
Zoro's more stronger, like there's more power behind his
right. But they don't compare to Luffy, who's like he's phenomenal. He's sick to the moon.
Luffy's one of them. Luffy's like I guess here's a apt comparison we can use.
Okay.
You know when we saw Hunter x Hunter when Wing was talking about Gon and Killua?
Yeah.
And comparing them to Zushi?
Yeah. Zushi. Not bad, kid. Like, you're a genius, but you're not like that. You know,
you're like 1 in 10,000. That's what they said about Zushi.
Yeah. They're like, like 1 in like 1,000. Sorry, but you're good though. You're good.
You're good.
Yeah, you're good.
But you're not. Right. You're not that. And that's kind of like Luffy Yamato, where it's just like Luffy just unlocked that shit and it was competing with Kaido, bro. It's fucking nuts.
I would say like the comparison between Luffy and Zoro with that ability is probably apt to, let's say, Shanks and Mihawk, I'd argue. Where it's like, you have the idea of like Luffy, Zoro is really, really good at that skill, but Zoro is getting very guarded too, but he's not Luffy. Mihawk is probably good at that skill, but he's not Shanks. And I think that one of the things too is that Shanks has to kind of compensate for what he lost way back when with his arm, right? So I think at that point in time, Mihawk was for sure stronger than Shanks, but over the course of time, over the past like 12 or 13 years.
So you think Mihawk was stronger than Shanks back then? When he had 2 arms?
When he lost his arm. When he lost his arm. Yeah. When he lost his arm, I think that Shanks became weaker because he lost a lot of his skills, that kind of stuff. But he had to kind of compensate, and he became exponentially stronger over the course of the series to where
he had to.
Because he had to, and now I think he's the top guy in the verse. And because I think he has the greatest hockey we have ever seen in One Piece, and he probably has it by far. I mean that no one, you can argue, comes even close to Shanks in terms of hockey. Right now, based on the feats, it's like ever.
Like including Gold?
Right now, Gold, he's not doing Shank stuff. Right now, he's not doing Shank stuff.
Here's the thing. I hate when you put me in these positions because you know how I feel about Shanks.
I know, yeah.
So I can't. It's like, what am I gonna say? I already said, bro. Look, I picked Shanks in the tournament of power over Roger. So it's just like,
you did.
You know what I'm saying? It's
smart.
I think Shanks at this point is equal to Prime Roger. Like I really do think that, right? I think. So,
yeah, I mean, there's evidence to say that Shanks is like the current modern day. He is the modern day version of Goldie Roger,
right?
But he's not
without the accomplishments, I guess.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And then the thing about it too is that with Shanks, right? There are certain things that the movie kind of alludes to, that Shanks being like unique for like whatever reason, but then also, and I won't get to it now, I suppose, but then also, like in case someone has watched a movie, but then also,
spoiler
you have
alert,
the idea,
film alert, if you haven't watched it,
right? But then also, what's like super interesting is that when you go back to chapter 1 of One Piece, right, the idea that Shanks is like, he is the person that Luffy has to get acknowledgement by in order to be like a great pirate. Like, he has to get acknowledged by Shanks particularly, and then that's gonna be like the major step, if not the step, to becoming, after the One Piece, to being the Pirate King.
Yes.
So, or like say, you can argue like it's somewhere in the mix
before,
there.
right?
Probably before.
Yeah.
Probably before, but it's not even guaranteed there.
It's not a guarantee, but it just adds more fuel to Luffy versus Blackbeard.
Right. So like the idea is that Shanks is, let's say, you can argue. So Shanks has witnessed what Luffy has done. Shanks sees that Luffy and his people were able to defeat Kaido, but he even says at this point in time, right now, I'm not
interested in Luffy.
Yeah, right. I don't see Luffy
so
at all.
He's saying Luffy still isn't there yet. That's crazy, though.
Right. He's not there. I don't think it's crazy because I think that Shanks gets stronger and stronger over the course of time. I'm willing to bet that at some point in the future, he make it like a bounty raise, maybe. But then also, I think the idea is that, okay, people, and that's what I thought too in the past too.
Wait, Shanks, so Cole, real quick. Okay, I mean to cut you off, but you're making the argument that Shanks is easily stronger than Kaido.
I would say that he's stronger. Maybe not easily, but I think for sure he's damn stronger.
Because what you're saying is, even after beating someone like Kaido, Shanks is still like, Luffy,
So my argument is that the way I see Shanks is the way I see kind of Roger. Like, I think that Kaido now could fight against Roger in a very, 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 very tough, like prime, max power, Goldie Roger.
It's gonna be a high diff fight.
It's gonna be a high diff minimum fight on that part to beat someone like for Roger to beat Kaido.
Yeah,
that's what I kind of view Shanks. Where Shanks could probably beat Kaido,
but it's high diff.
It's gonna be high diff, right? Exactly. So it's gonna be like I'm gonna crush you.
He's not
like,
saying that.
Like the same way Green Bull got shook, Kyle's not being treated the same. He's not getting that. No, he's not. No, not at all. But what's interesting too is that you see over the course of like when he does that that feat where like he does his crazy like hockey like phone call to Green Bull. You see how like afterwards, I'm just saying,
bro, you keep using that fucking hockey Wi-Fi thing, bro.
Yeah, that is because that is the greatest hockey feat in the story by far. Like literally, like nothing comes even close to that. That's what cats were so shook.
It's a great hockey feat because
great. It's the greatest. Stop.
It's a great hockey feat because of who it is. Right?
No.
Okay, so why is it the greatest?
It's not just that. It's the greatest hockey feat because, number one, people forget about this too. He uses observation hockey to sense Green Bull from that distance.
Okay.
So this distance, you can't even see the borders of Wano country. You can't even see them.
Okay.
But Shanks can somehow sense that great distance and then pinpoint where he is. That's even better than Enel and the entire White Sea, yo. Like
Oh
2 islands worth. That's better than that. And I love Enel. That's my
You're
point.
Such a Shanks stan, bro.
Wait.
Go ahead.
What? Okay, hold on. What hockey in that category when it comes to sensing? Who's better?
Nobody's better. I don't think nobody's better.
So what do you mean? We're on the same page.
The only person comparable I would say is probably Ray.
No, not even really.
Why not Ray?
Because he had 1 island. All right. Remember,
yeah, but we don't know if that's his limit though.
Maybe possible. That's fair. But
because
the whole point is that,
but didn't Oda say in Fishman Island, him and Ray and Shanks would knock out 100,000?
Yeah. Shanks and Rayleigh could knock out at least.
So we don't know if that's Rayleigh's limit. I would assume Rayleigh. I think Shanks has eclipsed Rayleigh.
Maybe.
I would say he's eclipsed Rayleigh, but I would assume Rayleigh can do some of the same things.
Again, you could be right about that one.
Yeah.
But again, because for me, I kind of like seeing like, hey. Like, I want to actually see it before I actually say he can do it. Like, for example, like folks will say that Garb has Congress hockey. I got to see him do it. I got to see him do it. I have to see him do it before I even say he has it.
I still think it doesn't make sense that we haven't seen Marine use it in a series, but
apparently, according to Databook, Sengoku has it.
Sengoku has it, right? But that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're going to give it to Sengoku, which you're probably giving it to him in a Databook because we're not going to see Sengoku in that position again. I mean, we're in a scenario where
if Garp dies, he may pull up.
It could call for it, right?
Yeah, he may pull up. Yeah.
And we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah, fair.
But if that's the case, do you think it's something that Oda decided on a whim? Like, well, I'm just going to give Marines Conquerors hockey now.
That was a Databook, so
that's Vivid-Card, right? Vivid-Card.
Yeah, Vivid-Card, right? Yeah. So it may be false because they actually got a few things wrong. Like they said that Shanks was a Yonko at this point in time, but actually that was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was Yonko I think 6 years ago. 6 years ago from the pre-time skip, I think it was. But they got the timeline wrong in the Databooks.
To be fair, the manga has gotten things wrong as well. That they had to go back and change in the volumes. Remember
Yeah, in a way, true.
remember they changed like the time skip with Odin. They went back and changed the time because it didn't match up necessarily.
Right.
They just changed Caesar's age. Apparently.
Okay, I didn't know that at all.
Yeah. Okay. Caesar's age got retconned apparently.
Okay. Well, I do know like that was a key one I remember. Katakuri was a Logia before, not as Paramesa, but a special Paramesa, quote unquote. Yeah. So all the gets thing wrong, of course, because what is there. But like I would say for the most part, right, is that the idea that let's say Garp could have it, maybe, or let's say Rayleigh could be better, maybe. But I'm saying like, what did Shanks actually do? And then when I think about it, because I had a video like kind of breaking it all down. What Shanks did, he was like maybe argue a similar spot to let's say where Zunisha was when Zunisha was watching or like kind of listening to like the Drums of Liberation. Okay. And Zunisha is officially like a huge creature, right? Like much bigger like than folks would think. Shanks covers that distance in like orders of magnitude. Like you could argue what he's doing is like thousands of miles away, and he's just sniping. He's sniping from arguably thousands of miles away in an elevated freshwater ocean. It's like how did he do that just now? Like what?
No, like the Shanks feat is something that I won't argue against, considering who it is, and then also no idea what he was going to do, and that's the thing about it, where it's like Green Bull was shook, right, and he was definitely
that's the second small part too. Green Bull was shook. The whole point here is that Green Bull, and I know folks want to say, well, it was the entire Red Dead Pirates, but no, that's max cope, like actual like Rob Lucci levels of cope. We're talking about this guy who was in mid-attack transform into like Groot form. And this dude gets sniped. And then he disengages Groot form and powers down. Just the sheer will of Shanks forced him to power down and put his hands up like actually like don't shoot. Like, come on.
You're dragging it a little bit.
I'm not.
But you're dragging it a little bit. And listen, I think at that point, here's the thing. That's why I say it didn't change anything for me, because I had Shanks top 5, top 3 at worst, right?
Yeah, but you know it's fraudulent now.
Huh?
Yeah, but you know that's fraudulent now.
Top 3 at worst?
Fraudulent. Yeah. Top 2 at
worst.
We'll
talk about that.
Okay, we'll go.
But and Green Bull was top 13, top 15. And so it's just like Shanks being stronger than Green Bull is not surprising. And even with Shanks doing that, I still think it would be a high div fight between Shanks and Green Bull. So it's like that's a feat for Shanks regardless, right? And it's something you can't take away from Shanks. But I think for people that have, personally, I think people that had Shanks 5 or 6, which I think is insane, there's no reason why there's no reason why you wouldn't move.
There is a reason why. There is a reason why, and it's unfortunate, but I can understand because that's our fandoms on it. People have their own favorite characters, right? Like I remember back in the day, Itachi, Wank, all the damn Itachi.
Wait, hold on, Cole. We're not gonna do no Itachi slander because Itachi's the goat. Itachi's the
goat. Madara season was it, baby. I don't care how many. Madara season was the real. That was real. That was grown man.
No, we can argue Madara has the best entrance in anime history ever.
For those 3 years, Madara was literally the best character on the planet Earth.
Okay, when we talk about anime, right, and they talk about an ancient old character, I don't know if any character did it better on a comeback. I can't think.
Okay, maybe, but listen. All I'm trying to say, right, is that because I don't get into Naruto talk, right? All I'm trying to say, right?
Go down a rebel, you right?
Exactly. Yeah. What I'm trying to say is that the reason why a lot of folks kind of like look at Shanks as like this person that can't be as strong as he should be, X, Y, and Z, the other, and like ignoring like what he's actually done. Like I remember during my Twitter stream, folks saying like, "Oh yeah, like that's a movie feed in the manga, therefore doesn't count." I'm like, you guys are like, this is ridiculous. The reason
That's good
why.
Promo.
Stop. The reason why.
It's great promo, bro.
Promo's canon then. Promo's canon. The reason why is because the idea is that, and because this is ultimately like a Zoro agenda. It's Zoro's going to be the top guy in the verse because we love Zoro that much. Therefore, we have to have Shanks be lower than Mihawk, no matter what, because Zoro has to be the strongest character in the series. Huh? I think it runs absolutely that deep.
I actually agree with you.
Thank you.
I think for characters, for people, not everyone obviously, but for people that gas, it's a certain group of characters that they gas for just to gas Zoro. It's Mihawk, obviously Zoro, and Rayleigh, right?
People don't care about Mihawk; they care about Zoro.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people that go Zoro stands, I would say, because Zoro, there are hella reasonable Zoro fans out there, but Zoro stands that go overboard. I think it's tempered now. I haven't seen a lot of crazy Zoro takes recently, post Wano.
No, but let's do that right there too, because why is it tempered? Because because
Luffy's pulled away.
Oh boy,
Luffy's pulled away,
dude. Who would have this guy, man?
Luffy's pulled away. Like Luffy's
this nigga.
Luffy's created some distance. Luffy's created some distance here.
Dude,
you can't you cannot logically even try to argue Zoro over Luffy or on par with Luffy at this point. You can't do it. You really just can't. And so here's a new agenda that I found.
Man,
here's a new agenda that I found.
True.
That some Zoro stands use. And I'm a huge Zoro fan, so it's like I say Zoro stands to distinguish.
I know it's not healthy.
Listen, Zoro's the GOAT. Come on, let's do it. The new agenda is against Katakuri.
Oh my god!
And it's people saying that King low diffs Katakuri. By the way,
that is max.
Right? Listen,
max cope.
And here's it is fucking cope. But they say he low diffs Katakuri because if King low diffs Katakuri, that then bridges the gap between Zoro and Luffy because King is stronger than Katakuri and Zoro was able to beat King and da-da-da-da-da. Because if you say Katakuri is stronger than King, that means that Zoro is basically as strong as Luffy after Whole Cake Island. And all the power-ups that Luffy has gotten has extended Luffy's gap.
Honestly,
which I don't think is the case because matchups matter here, right? So I don't think it's that 1-to-1, but that's some of the logic that people use. And
okay.
I can't agree with that logic.
So since we'll get it, because we're gonna have our own 2, 3. I mean, our own top 3 real soon.
Yeah.
Let me talk about what happened to my stream because my stream was 12 hours long. So if you want to see it, good luck. And by the way, the stream was so long, it actually got time gapped on YouTube at 11 hours 55 minutes.
Because YouTube, I think the most you can stream on YouTube is 12 hours, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So we actually that time gapped. So the full thing is actually on Twitch on my VOD. So you can watch the
Damn.
So the full 12 hours and like 40 minutes is actually on my Twitch channel.
Links will be below, boys.
Yeah. Please. So here's the thing, right? A lot of folks during that stream, like 40-some people, actually put King over Zoro now, which was very interesting.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that was a very interesting take. A lot of folks think that Zoro is still weaker than King now, even after all said and done.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So part of the logic was that because Zoro ultimately had gotten a convenient W over King, because all King has to ultimately do is just stay on flame on form, and Zoro can't do anything. In the middle of the fight, even when he gets Conquer Striking Infusion, he says, oh wait, his flame is on. Okay, I can't attack then. And Zoro has a time gate. He can only use his form for, let's say, like a few minutes, and that's it. He's gonna die, essentially speaking. So if Zoro has the limitation, and King has essentially no limits in his abilities, why is King going to speed form? Just stay invincible, like literally, and then just win the fight by default.
That's like big brain, not logical type way of fighting where people know, where King knows the exact time limit of Zoro's abilities.
Right. Agreed.
It's not realistic, right? And
so,
even
then also too,
Zoro's gotten stronger since the King fight, right? Because the Straw Hats get stronger after every fight. They get stronger after every fight.
Yeah.
So with King's defensive capabilities, are we 100% certain Zoro can break through it with his new abilities?
Here's
even stronger?
So, here's the issue, right? We have the example now of the other Lunarians.
Oh, the Lunarians.
Right. And then Blackbeard was on Bo Hancock's island. And even Blackbeard there and his whole crew, either the Marines there, Bo Hancock and their whole army, those two, S-Snake and S-Hog, didn't get damaged. They just regenerated the entire time.
They didn't get attacked though, right?
I know. I don't know about S-Snake, but I'm pretty sure S-Hog did get attacked.
S-Hog,
a few times.
They clashed. Him and Blackbeard clashed, but I'm talking about, say King is on his defensive mode, right? Because in his defensive mode, because Zoro was able to react to his speed form, right? At the end?
Well, the speed form was so fast where he had to get tagged a few times. I remember there was a kick he does on Zoro, and then Zoro used that kick to rebound for I think it was the something bird attack where he cuts him vertically. Yeah.
So he's able to react to the speed form. So King in his defensive form, Zoro's definitely able to react to that form.
Right.
And so, can King take a full-fledged Advanced Conqueror's Haki attack with Ashura, even in his defense form, and not get damaged? I'm not sure about that.
So the theory would be he maybe could get damaged, but he can just regenerate after some time anyway. Like that'd be like the theory because again, Zoro says during that fight that okay, and he has the Conqueror's Haki on. He's saying his flame is on. There's no point in me attacking at this point in time. So he has to kind of dodge and then wait for King to come to him with that kick to attack him again.
I think here's what we're doing.
That's why it's tricky.
We're doing the thing where it's like we're creating these perfect scenarios for somebody to win.
Agreed.
And we can do that with Doflamingo too, right?
No. Hell no.
How come?
What? Oh my God, dude, Brago. You gotta be kidding me.
Why we can't do that? Why we can't say Doflamingo? Why we can't say King gets hit with Parasite and then Doflamingo puts him in birdcage and he starves?
He will break out. What are you talking about?
Why would he break out?
Because anyone can break out anything like that as long as they have Haki, strong Haki. That's it. Done. Or the ability, like that's very unique.
You think King has strong enough Haki to do that?
Yeah, for sure.
Why is that?
Because Law does, probably.
Okay. Did the King use Haki at all?
I think he did at times. I remember seeing arm Haki at times. I remember seeing that. I remember seeing arm Haki. I remember doing it.
Okay, what if Dofi locks him in the birdcage and he starves to death?
Hold on. Didn't Luffy just like break these things like when he went to Gear 4, like get out of your kid?
Yeah, when he changed his size. Yeah.
When he broke out of them in Gear 4, yeah.
Yeah.
And then so like this ability is not threatening. It's actually not threatening. Stop trolling. Stop. Don't.
Nah, I think you're downplaying Parasite for real.
No.
I think you're downplaying Parasite.
Here's
but the point is, you can create scenarios using hacks to beat a character. Where it's that's not how fights go. Because like with King has no.
But Zoro's not hacked.
No, what I'm saying, King has no exact time period of knowing Zoro's limits, even after fighting him. He doesn't know that. Right?
True.
So it's like he can't go into the fight and say, hey, I'm just going to wait it out. You know who could do that? Like, I guess post Whole Cake Island, I guess Doflamingo could do that with Luffy knowing that there's a time limit to Gear 4th, right? But you can't do that with Zoro's abilities.
The problem is that, and so, okay, the issue is that, and the characters are all different, so it doesn't matter, right? Luffy and his other forms is still fast and effective in Dofi, but not super effective. Whereas King was rolling Zoro before he gained the Conqueror's Haki. Like King had Zoro on.
He was dominating. He was
dominating that fight. And then once he goes Conqueror's Haki in fusion form, then now the fight is even. Now it's more fair because Zoro more power. Yeah, Zoro has more attack power.
Mm-hmm.
But again, the argument here is that just I don't agree with that idea because I don't have King over Zoro.
Right.
But from their perspective, the idea ultimately I guess comes from Zoro is because the fight was in his favor ultimately because King had no business losing that fight because of his abilities, how it worked out.
I understand the logic. I just don't think it would play out that way in a realistic battle setting.
Yeah, you got it. Because again, why would Zoro tell him his time? Like, hey, I only have like 3 minutes left. You know,
unless it's like JJK and he gets stronger if he tells him the time. I gotta.
Yeah, some of that, right? Like King could just like fly away. Like, hey, you have 3 minutes. Cool. I'm just gonna snipe from range.
Let me ask you: did some of these people have King over Katakuri?
Some do. It depends. Some don't.
Did they create a scenario for that too?
I mean, I'm not too sure. That was a long stream. That was a long.
Yeah, that's 12 hours.
I forgot who said what. Yeah, 12 hours. Yeah,
that's 12 hours. Let me ask you, so we can start to wrap up this segment.
All right.
What's your favorite moment of Wano other than Gear 5?
Oh man. Okay. I actually have. I think my favorite moment is Robin's conclusion. I love that moment a lot. I love that moment.
You watched the anime?
Yeah.
You watched the anime?
I did. Uploading that hopefully like this week later on for a video edit. But yeah, Demonio Fleur was like hella dope. I love seeing Robin do that.
I loved
it. Consider how like her last fight was just like big old Yama and Skypiea, like her last one-on-one fight, and then here we are like 20 plus years later where we actually her against Black Maria.
Yeah.
The anime did her so much justice. It was so good seeing Robin. Yeah, it was really, really damn good. So that was my favorite moment. After that was I think my Sanji moment with him destroying the raid suit. That kind of caught me off guard. But again, for me personally, and so this is where like me as a Sanji fanboy, then some Zoro fanboys we disagree on like what should be most important here. I'm actually okay with Sanji being like let's say definitively weaker than Zoro. He's not though, but it's what is there. If it means he's the best character in the story, and right now that's what I have right here. I have the.
Let me ask.
He is right now the best. He is the best character in the story right now, easily, not even close.
I have Garp up there. I have Sanji up there. Garp, Sanji. Who else I typically look at as best characters?
Doflamingo probably.
Doflamingo.
Robin, I'm assuming. Really? Usopp?
No other Straw Hats.
What?
No other Straw Hats. No.
How?
Whitebeard.
Whitebeard. You think Whitebeard's better character than Robin is?
By leaps and bounds.
No
By
way,
leaps and bounds.
dude. No way.
By leaps and bounds.
Whitebeard's a legend, love him, but he's not better than Robin is.
By leaps and
He
bounds.
only has one arc to like kind of flesh his whole story out.
That's all
Robin
he
has
needed.
several. No, Robin
That's all he
has
needed.
several.
No, but they've like with Whitebeard's story, they've even expanded upon it in Wano, etc.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah.
But Robin is still like Robin going through
Robin,
the
a better
process of
character than
learning
Whitebeard?
fish.
No way.
Yeah,
No
absolutely.
shot.
By leaps and bounds. Leaps and bounds.
You
Leaps
know
and
what?
bounds.
You know, we'll let the chat decide that. Is Robin a better character than Whitebeard?
Yeah, you're a member of the Holy
Oh my God.